Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. Today we are going to discuss about a new issue that has come up is regarding the demand of a new state in India that will be called as Bhil Pradesh. So Bhil Pradesh is a new state being demanded in the western part of India, and this state is being demanded by the Bhil tribe, which is very well known tribe, and they want to carve out a separate tribal state for themselves comprising areas from different states in the western India. So let us try to understand about this issue in more detail. So first of all, the context in which we are discussing today's issues is because the demands for Bhil Pradesh, which is going to be a separate state for tribal people in the western India, have of late begun to be raised again. The Bharatiya Tribal Party, also called as BTP in the short, it is the main political party based in Gujarat, which is at the forefront of this particular demand. The demand of Bhil Pradesh, however, is not anything new. The demand has been raised since before the independence of India, and even after the independence, it was raised repeated times, many number of times. However, the demand of Bhil Pradesh is not only supported by Bharatiya Tribal Party. There are other mainstreams party as well. For example, we have Congress MP, who is a multi-term MP from Dahod region of Gujarat, a former Ratlam MP Dalip Singh Bhuria, also the Congress, and also former CPI member of Rajasthan Assembly Mangarh Thabar. All these personalities have also supported the demand of carving out a separate Bhil Pradesh. So, which region actually comes under the Bhil Pradesh, or what regions do the people want to create to merge to create a Bhil Pradesh? So, basically, the Bhil Pradesh is going to be, if the demand is met, is going to be a separate state that will be carved out of 39 different districts, which are spread over 4 states of India. So, which are these 4 states? As you can see clearly from this map here, these states are Rajasthan in the north, Madhya Pradesh in the east, Maharashtra in the east, and Gujarat in the west. So total out of these 39 districts, the Bhil Pradesh will have 16 districts from Gujarat, 10 districts from Rajasthan, 7 districts from Madhya Pradesh, and 6 districts from Maharashtra. If you look at the historical background of the demand of Bhil Pradesh, it is believed that for the first time when the demand of a separate Bhil Pradesh was raised was by Govind Guru, who is a very noted Bhil social reformer and a spiritual leader, and in year 1930 he raised the demand for carving out a separate state for the Bhil tribe. The demand of Bhil Pradesh was raised in 1913 following a very unfortunate event in the history of India that is known by the name of Mangarh massacre. Mangarh massacre was a massacre that occurred in year 1913 when British soldiers killed or slaughtered more than 1500 Bhil tribe members in the Mangarh region. This incident has happened 6 years before the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, and that is why, since the number of people who died or was killed in this massacre was very high, the Mangarh massacre is also popularly known as Adivasi Jallianwala. Few years back, when Theresa May was the Prime Minister of England, she apologized on the behalf of England for the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. However, she did not utter a word about this Mangarh massacre, and that is when a lot of tribal leaders wanted to raise this demand that Theresa May should also, or the Britain should also apologize for the Mangarh massacre as well, because hundreds of Bhil tribes were killed by the British forces in year 1930. After this, as we discussed, the social reformer and spiritual leader of Bhils, Govind Guru, raised the demand of a separate Bhil state. The Govind Guru, who was the main founder of this demand of Bhil state, he was also very well known and is associated with a tribal movement against British, that is called as Bhagat movement. The main demand of Bhagat movement was that he wanted to protest against the oppressive policies of British against the Bhils, and also want to purify the habit of the Bhil community member. Now question comes that why this demand is being raised about the Bhil Pradesh, and what is the rationale behind the demand of Bhil Pradesh. So if you look at the rationale behind the demand of Bhil Pradesh, the political party BTP, that is Bharatiya Tribal Party, and its leader have said that if you look at the history of pre-independence era, we have regions like Dungarpur, Banswara, Udaipur, Rajasthan, and some part of Gujarat, MP, etc. These were part of a single entity. And since these were part of single entity, it has been divided after the independence, and this division was done in such a manner by political parties that tribal majority regions got divided into small regions. And the BTP claims that this was done basically to ensure that tribals do not organize and unite. So basically it was the main reason behind this division of the single entity was to weaken the tribal demand and the tribal forces. The other reason why there is a rise in the demand of this particular state is also can be attributed with the dissatisfaction with the government, or dissatisfaction with the government. Why dissatisfaction with the government? Because Bhil leaders say that government has brought a lot of schemes, policies, laws regarding the to protect the interest of the tribals. However, the state government is very slow in execution and implementation of the scheme, and that is why many tribal members did not even know about the basics of these schemes. And the most important example of this is PESA, that is Panchayat Extension Scheduled Areas Act. This act has been passed in 1996 and was passed several years later in the state of Rajasthan. However, many members of Bhil communities do not know about this act because this act was never enforced in later and spirit. So due to this growing discontentment with the government and the state government, they want to create a separate state to ensure that the tribal members of Bhil community get their due. Apart from that, what do the tribal leaders are basically saying about this demand? So they are saying that as far as the Bharatiya Tribal Party is concerned, it is one of their main objective is to create a separate Bhil state. And to ensure that demand is properly addressed, there is continuous meetings and gatherings that is being held at a routine manner to mobilize the tribals and spread the awareness regarding the same. And why they are doing so? The tribal leaders again are showing that it is not just about the older members of the Bhil community, but even the tribal youths today, they have lost confidence in both mainstream political parties, that is BJP and Congress, and that is why they believe that only way by how they will be able to get their due is by creating a separate state and being ruled by themselves. And also the main leader of Bharatiya Tribal Party, Mr. has said that seeing how we have fared in 75 years, there is no other way but to have our own separate Bhil Pradesh. Now, since we are talking about Bhil Pradesh, it is important we know slightly also about the Bhil community. So, who are actually Bhils? So, if you look at the historical context, Bhils are a very ancient tribes, and their history can be traced as back to as even mythologies like Ramayana. We have the mention of Bhil tribe. As of now, Bhil tribes have got the status of scheduled tribe in the state of Rajasthan, and they have very strong influence in the Mewar region of Rajasthan, which is a hilly and forested areas. If you look at the medieval history of Bhils are very popularly known for their guerrilla warfare. Is used to fight with bows, arrows, and slingshot, and that is why, due to their very good understanding of the local terrain of Mewar and their ability to fight very well in the form of guerrilla warfare, Bhils were a very significant part of Rajput resistance against the Mughal emperor. And this is very well understood if you look at the history of Maharana Pratap, because history tells us that Maharana Pratap have formed a pact with the then Bhil ruler, and both of them fought valiantly against the Mughal emperor in the famous battle of Haldi Ghati. And it is due to this reason, not only Maharana Pratap, but several Rajput rulers have consistently recognized the importance of Bhils in their kingdom. So now how we can understand that how significant were the Bhils for the this Rajput rulers? We can look at the emblem of the Mewar royal family. The emblem of Mewar royal family not only had a Rajput, but alongside also they have a Bhil. So that is how we can understand that not only in ancient time, but even in medieval time, Bhils were very important force to reckon with to fight against Mughal. Now the question comes, are the Bhils only Hindu or Muslim? So obviously Bhils are basically both divided into Hindu community as well as Muslim community. The Muslim community of Bhil are well known as Tadvi Bhil, and their maximum number is Maharashtra, where their number rises to 1 lakh. Tadvi Bhil is basically a tribal community that is listed under scheduled tribes, and largely are found in the state of Maharashtra, but also found in small pockets of states like Rajasthan, Gujarat, and Madhya Pradesh. Though the Tadvi Bhil belong to the Muslim religion today, they are having a syncretic way of lifestyle, and they are unrigid in the practices of Islam. So basically, we can say that they offer namaz, but they have retained many aspects of Hindu culture, and that is why they follow the customs of both Hinduism as well as Islam. Now, how do the Bhil community have transformed or converted to Islam? The history says, or the story says, that when Aurangzeb visited a region of Maharashtra, it is during this visit that he converted large number of Bhil community into Islam. So what we can say in conclusion, that basically this demand of a separate Bhil state is not new. Several such demands have been raised and successfully met in the history of India. The best example is the creation of state like Jharkhand, creation of Uttarakhand and the Chhattisgarh. So basically the demand is again being strongly this raised because Adivasi group and Hindu outfit are at odds over tribal history, where both of them try to appropriate each other's history. And the demand of the Bhil state is nothing but one of the example of assertion of tribal unity in different parts of India. So I hope you understood about this particular issue well. Thank you very much.